folks, today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how to book a hotel room online using Trivago. Now, Trivago is a site which searches the internet for other websites that actually sell hotels, and then it brings those together in a list which gives you a comparison of prices across many different sites. So it's extremely useful if you are looking to get the best price on your hotel room. So when you go to Trivago.com, this is the first screen that you'll see, and all you need to do is to type in the city that you're going to be staying in. Just take care that you are choosing the right city. There are some instances where you've got multiple cities or towns that have the same name. It's in different parts of the world, so just double check you've got the right one. When you have put that in, the first thing to do is to choose your check-in and check-out dates. So if we would like to check in, for example, on the 3rd of May and check out on the 5th of May, just click on those dates. Then we can select our room, single, double, family, or if we've got a group, we can also choose multiple rooms. And a couple of things at the top of the screen you'll notice. Here's the pricing. The usual default pricing is US dollars if you're in the US. It will usually default to your local currency depending upon where you are in the world. So, but if it doesn't, just double check that you've got the right currency at the top. Although usually it'll be pretty obvious from the pricing, but all you need to do is to change that. So, for example, if we would like it in British pounds, there you go. So we'll choose US dollars for this video. Now, the other thing is the language, and in the US version, it's either English or Spanish. If it can actually tell from your internet address which country you're in. So if, for example, I'm in Canada, it will give me English and French as the two options. So that's what that does there. And this is your profile if you decide to sign up and have an account with Trivago. There's no need to do that. You can certainly use the site without ever having to sign up, and the only value may be that it keeps certain searches for you, it keeps your favorites and that type of thing. So now we've got this very long list of hotels that goes on for pages and pages and pages. So the first thing that we may want to do is decide to sort the list in a particular order. So it will normally default to popularity, which is the ones that have the great ratings from past guests, that are very popular in terms of getting booked, and that the Trivago's decided are the most popular hotels. But perhaps price is your primary consideration, in which case you can choose to sort the list by price. It will start at the lowest price and go up from there. Or perhaps you are only interested in a hotel that is a certain distance from the city centre. So at the moment, down here in distance from, we have selected city centre. But let's suppose we wanted an airport hotel. So this now will give us a list of it has sorted the list into the hotels based on distance from the airport. So the closest is the Radisson Blu at half a mile, and it will go up from there. So basically you've got a number of different sorting options. So we'll go back to popularity, and we also need to change back to the city centre. So now we have this. We've still got this very big list, and at the moment we're seeing 364 hotels out of a possible 1,500. And the reason we're not seeing 1,500 is because the 364 hotels are the only ones that have availability for both nights that we're wanting to stay. So you won't see hotels that you can't actually book, which is very helpful. So now we have to figure out how to sort this list down into something more manageable. And we do that using the filters on the side. So the first thing most people are interested in is the price. So let's say we only want to spend up to $200. You can also click on that link there and just type in the amount that you want. So let's say we're prepared to go to $210. So now we've got 205 hotels out of our 1500. So now we've reduced that list a little. Let's say we're also interested in what other guests have rated this hotel. So we can choose 0 plus is basically everything. That doesn't change anything. But if we're only interested in hotels that have been given a rating above 7, we can do that. And now we've got 128 hotels. Above 7.5, we're down to 105. Above 8, we're down to 70. And above 8.5, we're now down to 17, which is a much more manageable a list of hotels. But just for the purposes of this exercise, we'll include everything from 7.5 up. The next thing that we may be interested in sorting on is the hotel class. So this is the star rating. So as we reduce the number of stars that we're willing to go down to, this number here will drop. So if we're interested in only 5-star hotels, well, there's none. And that's because we had a price of $210, and the minimum price for the 5-star hotels obviously starts at $284. Let's add in 4-star. Now you can see it's reverted back to our minimum, or our maximum price, I'm sorry. And there are some hotels. There are in fact 38 4-star hotels that meet our criteria. Perhaps we want to include more, so we'll include 3-star hotels as well. So you can see how this is a process of elimination, basically. Now let's say that we have some very specific requirements in terms of the location of the hotel. Perhaps we really would like to be near, let's just pick somewhere. Perhaps we would like to be near, I'm looking for Croke Park. Not there. Let's say, here we go, Croke Park Stadium. So let's say we're going to see U2 play at Croke Park Stadium. And we want to be in a hotel that's nearby, so we can do that. So we now have our price, everything above 7.5, everything above 3 stars, and everything near Croke Park Stadium. And we can actually, you'll see that it's brought it up. The first one is within 0.7 miles, 0.1 mile. So it doesn't necessarily put it in exactly the right order, but every one of these hotels will be close to Croke Park Stadium. And you can even narrow that down and say, well, I'm really only interested in being within, let's say, 2 miles of the stadium. So now we're down to only 24 hotels. So that's how that works. And then the next thing is the types of facilities that we'd like to have in the hotel. So, for example, we may really need to have free Wi-Fi. So we can click on that, and let's see, we're down to 23. Most hotels these days are fairly good with free Wi-Fi. But let's say we also want breakfast included in the rate. Now we're only down to 7. So these can actually really quickly narrow a list down. I'll just take those off so we've got all of our hotels. Now we can also go to extra filters, and these are all sorts of things that may help us reduce the choice. So let's say that we really need to have an airport shuttle. there's only one hotel. It's 1.4 miles from Croke Park Stadium, and it includes an airport shuttle service. Perhaps we would like to have a hotel that has a gym. So now we can see we've got 8 hotels. So you can add as many of these in as you like. You'll notice that the number here will get less and less with each thing that you add in. So you can work your way through this list. For particular things, you may want a particular hotel chain. You may want to have, for example, accessibility is a good one. Maybe you need a hotel that has wheelchair accessibility. So all you need to do is check that box, and the only hotels that will come up are those that have that facility. So let's just go back to the top filters. Another way to view the hotels rather than in a list, which can be quite helpful, is to click on the map setting. And now you can see that it gives you a visual of where all the hotels are, and all you need to do is to just hover over that with your mouse, and it will show you which hotel it is and basic information like its rating, its star rating, and its price. So, and then you can proceed to viewing the deal if it suits your needs, and you'll notice that this map is actually one that will change as you move around. And to move around, all you need to do is to hold down the left mouse button and then drag the map. So this is a very, very, very good tool to have. You can zoom in by clicking the plus, and so you can get down to very specific areas and hotels. You can also zoom out to see even further out. So now that we have our list, or we're looking on the map view, the next step is to actually take a look at these things here. So what is it actually telling us? So first of all, it gives us this basic information, but here's where the things that we're looking for. So the price at the moment is $201 a night, and it's on hotels.com, which is a discount of 84% off the highest rate. Usually the highest rate will be what they call a room at counter, where you walk into the hotel and that's what you would pay. So that's kind of where they get that from. It's the full price listed for that room. Now you could, if you think that this is great and you're okay to book through hotels.com, you can just click straight on view deal. But you'll notice that there are some other things here too. So booking.com has this room starting at $209, Expedia at $201, and if we click on more deals, we can click and get a list of all the deals available. You'll notice that they're all based on an executive king room, and even though, for example, you've got Expedia with the room at $201 here, it's also here at $209. So you may be wondering what the difference is, and the difference is this bit: pay at the hotel. Paying at the hotel means that you don't have to pay today. You can pay once you get there, which may be something that you're wanting to do. In either event, you will have to give your credit card to make the booking. So the difference here is not whether or not you get to give your credit card information. The difference is whether or not that card will be charged immediately. So for the service of not having to pay for it right now, you can pay slightly more for the room. The reason that you may want to do this is if your plans are not firm and you don't want to have to go through the kind of hassle of having your credit card charged and then having to get a refund. I think that's the only reason I can see that would be useful. So once you look through these, you can pick out whichever one is the one that you prefer. And while you're here, you can also see things like look at a slideshow of photos. You can read more information about the hotel. If you click down here, it shows you all of the amenities at the hotel. You've got a map. You can also read the reviews. These are reviews left by other guests, and Trivago, because it doesn't actually sell the room, it consolidates the guest feedback from all of these other sites to come up with a rating. You can look at the various ratings of elements of this hotel. Obviously, breakfast is not considered one of its highlights, but it has got a great location. So you can decide whether or not breakfast is that important. And then you can actually read actual customer reviews from these other sites. So this is a great way to really start narrowing down which hotel you might like to stay in without ever having to leave Trivago. You can do all of this on the one site. And then obviously we've got the deals. So let's say that we've got an account with Expedia, we prefer to book with Expedia, so we can just click on that arrow and now Trivago will pass us through to the Expedia site. So you can see here that we're now on Expedia. Our hotel that we selected is here, and from here we can actually go and book this hotel. So I will be doing a separate video on how to actually physically make the booking with Expedia, but for now that's pretty much how Trivago works. It's something that I use personally frequently, particularly if I don't know where I want to stay yet, and really I'm just looking for the best price that I can find on a hotel. So one last thing that I did not yet show you is that you can find specific hotels on here. And let's say, for example, that we know we want to stay at the Clontarf Castle. So all we have to do is type that in and it will show us Clontarf Castle. Now, this is a good thing because we can see all the deals that are available at Clontarf Castle. So even if you've decided on your hotel, you can still use Trivago as a means to finding the best rate at that hotel. Because I can tell you that the hotel website is not necessarily where you'll get the best deal. This is just one of the strange things about booking hotels online these days, is that the hotel itself may not offer you the best rate. A lot of hotels do, and you will actually see often the hotel itself appearing in this list because sometimes they will give you the best rate. It's worth sometimes just checking their website to make sure, because I have seen instances where hotels will offer a discount if you book on their site. So that's how the searching the hotel name goes. And let's just say, for example, that you knew the title of the hotel had castle in it, but you didn't know exactly, you couldn't remember what it was called. So you just put in castle and it will bring up all of the hotels that have castle in their name. So that's it for Trivago. And if you continue on with this article, you'll find a video about how to make the next part of the booking.